It's chemistry again. Here it is. We've got a question on metals today. So have a quick read. We've got give 3 differences between the properties of iron and potassium. Okay. Most important thing is get a periodic table, find out where iron is and find out where potassium is. Okay. So do that. Write this down, have a go, and we'll catch up in a few seconds to go through the answers. Righty-yo, time is up. Let's go through this then. Now, what we were looking to do actually is from your periodic table, identify where potassium and iron are, right? So iron is there, it's a transition metal, and potassium is there in group number 1. Okay, so that's a group 1 metal. So in actual fact, all this question is asking you to do is to compare transition metals with group 1 metals. So I've made a quick table here that will help us to see the differences quite easily. So with group 1 metals, they've got very low melting points, right? Transition metals on the other hand, very high melting points. So think about things like gold, things like iron and that kind of thing. You're going to have to heat them quite high to melt them, right? It's not going to be an easy job. Next, group 1 metals have low densities. Now, your teacher would have done that experiment in school where they took a bit of sodium or potassium, maybe both, and they put it into water. And what happened? It went fizzing around on the water like that, right? And a bit of gas was given off and a bit of smoke. But the key thing there was that it floated on the water, so it's low density. Transition metals, on the other hand, quite high density. Now, group 1 metals are soft. That same experiment, your teacher would have sliced a bit of sodium out, which means they can be cut with a knife, right? Whereas think about, iron, copper, titanium. Can you cut those with a knife? Definitely not, okay? Reactions with water. Now, group 1 metals are really, really reactive. As we already said, that same experiment again. See, it's so important that you remember these experiments. So that same one, when they dropped it into the water, lots of smoke was given off. I think potassium even set on fire maybe, okay? Whereas transition metals, think about iron, right? Rusting, very, very slow process. Doesn't really react with oxygen and water as it does for group 1 metals, right? Group 1 metals, really, really vigorous reactions, very quick. Other things, group 1 metals in general form white compounds. So when they form, or when they bond with something, they're going to form white compounds or white powders in general. Whereas transition metals, they form really, really nice colored complexes. So you should Google that stuff, right? Some of the colors they form are brilliant. So nice. Now with group 1 metals, the last thing is that they always form 1+ ions. So they always carry a charge of like plus, so Na+, or potassium with a plus on it, K+, that kind of thing. Whereas transition metals, on the other hand, they can form ions of lots of different charges, right? So for transition metals, a few would be, there's like copper with 2+, there's also copper with 1+, there's iron with 2+, and there's iron with 3+ as well, right? So lots of different ones out there for transition metals, and it makes them really, really useful as catalysts. So a catalyst, remember what that is, it's something that can speed up a chemical reaction without being used up itself, okay? So there we go. That's a handy little table there. I hope you've got some of those points down. We're looking for maybe 3 comparisons there, to get all your 3 marks. But I put loads of points there, so jot this down, jot the extra ones down. If you remember maybe 3 or 4, then that's good enough. Perfect. Okay, so that's that metal question done. We'll put out a few more very, very soon. Until then, keep practicing your chemistry, keep revising. I will catch you in the next video very, very soon.